Welcome back to Unboxed. Episode 6 is here, and don't worry, I'm not alone again. I am joined by one of Ireland's most inspirational athletes, triple Paralympian, silver medal in Tokyo, many medals in between. Today in the pod, we're going to be joined by Irish Paralympic swimmer Nicole Turner. For those of you who don't know her, you're going to be in for a treat. She's just a legend. She is such a firecracker that when she walks into the room, she brings so much energy and she just makes you smile. And hopefully you guys get that whenever you listen to this episode. But there's many other things that come out of this episode as well. One of them being that Nicole is a Paralympic athlete. She discusses how that is, the different categories in Paralympic sport. And for me, I found it really eye-opening as well because it's not a world that I know particularly well. I had to challenge myself to stay open, to ask questions, to try and understand different points of view, which I will never be able to understand or comprehend what that is like. So hopefully you guys are able to pick up on those messages as well. The main thing I want you to take away simply is how much of an amazing person Nicole is, how much she wants to give back to the world that she comes from. So without a doubt, you're going to have fun. It is fun. I had fun. But go listen to it. I'm sure someone down the road wants to listen as well, so you may as well share it with them, like just pop it off in the wee neighbourhood WhatsApp group. But go on, have a listen, enjoy it, follow while you're there, and make sure you comment in the chat or here to wherever you want to comment, actually, waffling away. Give us a comment and let us know what you took away and what other people would expect to hear from this episode as well. So off you go. Enjoy the episode. Guys, we are back with another episode of Unboxed, and today I am joined with another firecracker that is Nicole Turner.
Hello.
Legend. Welcome.
It's an honour to be in your presence.
I go on! The pair of us as if we're like two rockets like farting about. You never know what's going to happen or what's going to be said.
No. Be warned.
No, honestly, and we've just had about 20 minutes chat, debriefing everything, and we'll just leave it at that. But it's so...
There'll be a part 2.
Deal. Yes! Oh my gosh. Okay, so do a quick recap because Nicole is an absolute legend. If you don't know her, you're missing out. Okay, so obviously very, very experienced 22-year-old.
Gosh, you're making me feel old now.
Well, 3 Paralympics are like that.
I do feel old.
I can imagine, like, I would feel old. I'd be barely hanging together. Barely hanging together after 1, let alone 3. But so you were in Rio, Tokyo, and Paris.
Yes.
A few other medals in between, between World, Euros, everything else. We medal in Tokyo.
That was special.
I could imagine. What was it in?
A 50 butterfly, S6.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned it, so a lot of what I want to talk to Nicole about is, one, she's an absolute firecracker, but so obviously you're in the Paralympics, you're an S6 swimmer. Explain S6 to people who maybe don't know or understand what that might be.
So with the Paralympics, you get 14 different classifications to make it as fair or as equal as you can for competition. S1 to S10 is a physical impairment, so S1 would be the ones with the lowest amount of movement, and then S10s would be the ones with the slightest little disability. S11, 12, and 13 is visual. S11's nearly being fully blind to S13's being partially sighted. And then S14 is intellectual. So I'm an S6, as you said. It's very broad. I think some people think, oh, you're an S6, so you just compete against people who are small. Not exactly. So it's built on like a point system. So yeah, there would be people with dwarfism and short stature, but then there could also be people with spinal difficulties who have no use of their legs, back or spine, and then only use of their arms.
So you could be racing then against a lot of people. Just it's going to be like, because all your points then will put not necessarily. It doesn't matter if you have like short stature or dwarfism. It's all then based on your level of
how much movement you have in the water.
Okay, and so then I don't even know where to go from that. That's just I honestly never knew that. Like, if I've the Paralympics this year, like watching it, I think it's just got bigger and bigger every Olympics.
No, 100%. Yeah, but if you like, in my race, you could have me who's short stature, someone in a wheelchair, someone with one leg.
Okay.
But then that would mean they'd have external complications such as maybe very little movement in their arms, hips, back. Like, it's very broad, but it's fair at the same time.
Okay. Was it not recently that they recategorized? Was it in running? Because I remember there was a lot of controversy over a lot of the categories because of the point system on it.
Yeah, there is. Now, to be fair, like, some classifications are a lot harder to judge than others. Like, say the S9s, they'd be a lot of like one arms, one legs.
Okay.
S14 intellectual is quite an easy one. It's kind of the most fairest one because it's an able-bodied swimmer, but they just have an intellectual disability.
Okay.
But then it's the ones with the kind of like brain injuries. That's where it's just a very kind of can be a grey area as to where they fit in.
Okay. So do you find it hard then, like, say, seeing that difficulty, or are you kind of like, okay, you just focus on yourself and like, I know this is what I have, I'm going to focus on me? Or
you kind of do have, like, it is kind of hard to see when you see races and there might be so many people in a line, but then someone 5-6 seconds ahead. Like, it's kind of, some people might question that, but then you do have to kind of take a step back and be like, look, I trust the rules here and what's going on. So
hopefully there's been no politics that have gotten into it then. Oh, Jesus. Sure, that's all we need. Like, another sport ruined by politics and the drama.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, no. Okay, so you've been swimming for how many years? Go on.
International 9, but since I was...
Came out of the womb.
Since I came out of the womb. I've been swimming... I'm swimming in the womb.
Yeah, you know, tadpole in there.
I only got little legs.
I can't hide. Oh, Jesus. Right, okay, so you've been swimming for a while then.
I've been swimming for a long while.
So you can say 23 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. It all adds up, 23 years. I'm not 23 yet, but 23 years.
People are probably like, what the hell is going on? We will get to some serious points, but obviously, like I feel like even over the past couple of years, we've got to know each other more and more in the gym, mainly because of Noel.
Mainly because of Noel Murphy, yeah.
Yeah, so Noel is both of our S&C, so like obviously yours for swimming, mine for goalie coaching / doing weird things. And I think one of my first memories of seeing you guys in the gym was practicing your starts onto a mat.
Onto a mat with the med ball?
Yeah. So we will do our best to get video evidence of that because it's actually hilarious. I stood at the back and I was like, what on earth?
Jealous?
I would say no.
No.
I was quite happy to leave you guys to that until then, whenever I was returning to play. And we were trying to figure out ways how I could not learn to dive again, but like start diving again. And then Noel was like, I have an idea. And I was like, I know exactly where he's going to go with this because
seen this before.
I have seen this blue mat being pulled out. Anyway, so Noel Murphy is obviously our connection in between, you know, because live, laugh, love Noel.
He broke the ice for us.
He did.
I mean,
essentially,
our first memory, actually, I'll put you back there.
Oh, Jesus.
2018 RTÉ Sports Awards. I was a fangirl.
Nah. Go away.
Like, there's the Irish hockey team.
Oh my gosh, yes, I remember that, and it was terrible because we couldn't even have any food. Priorities, obviously. Oh my gosh, I do remember that. Actually, that popped up. That would have been 6 years ago. Yeah. Holy shit.
We didn't know each other then. Though.
No, we didn't. But like, I knew who you were.
I knew who you were, but we just weren't.
No, we were like sports fans, diehard sports fans. Well, but that was like the one like sports awards I really didn't enjoy. I just found it very formal, very forced. There's no food or drink.
No, and it's very handshake like.
Yeah, very official. Well, how are you? Nice to see you. Good year, well done. Right, okay. But then I went out with the Limerick curling lads after.
Oh
no, that was some crack.
Oh,
that went a bit rogue.
Where did that go? Where did you end up?
There was a few of the hockey girls. Where did we end up actually? We had a hotel booked because they booked us a hotel.
Yeah.
And then I want to say There was definitely at some point we were back in reception having bevs.
At some point.
At some point.
Whether
and
that
then,
was the next morning or not.
Oh gosh, who knows? Honestly, who knows? Gosh, what throwback.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, there's definitely a photo, I think, of us together.
Yeah, there is.
You're like,
you're on my Instagram.
Oh my gosh, yes, I made it. Come on.
We made it before we were even friends.
Before we were even friends. Oh, that made me really happy now. And now look at us, 6 years in the making.
We knew this. We knew something would go from there.
It was only up.
I mean,
I don't know. There's maybe a few horizontals in there. There's been a few dark days.
There's been a few bumps in the road.
A few. Okay, so we're gonna rewind right back. Who was Nicole when she was younger? Like, if I had to ask your granny, I'm not gonna ask your parents because like they'll be like, "Oh, our Nicole's special." What would your granny say about you? Go on.
I was small. I didn't actually find out I had a disability until I was 5.
No way.
Yeah, when I was born, I was clearly born small, but to a doctor, that's like, oh, it's a baby, it's small.
Yeah.
And then I was a really sick baby, and my mom's she was a nurse then, and she was like to the doctors, look, there's something up with my child. She's not eating properly. She's got really bad reflux. Blah blah blah. And they were like, no, she's fine. She isn't as advanced as other babies might be. Long way down the road, we're still really sick to the age of 2, 3, 4. And then when I was 5, I got referred to Crumlin's Children's Hospital. And it took one doctor to stand me up and ask me to straighten my arms. I can't straighten my arms. You can't see now anyway. And he was like, yeah, you have dwarfism.
No way. All just because your mum, one, kept fighting for you, but then to go to one doctor and that one doctor was like,
I can see it. She has dwarfism.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
It must have been, like, I can imagine it was a relief for your mum to also...
Yeah, because
I know when that...
Yeah, she wasn't believed. Like, I say it, she was not believed. And it was like, she was looked down on and it was like, no, what are you on about?
Yeah.
Whereas 5 years down the line, it was like, no. Because most people with my disability, like, their parents would find out before they were born or just as they were born.
Okay.
But no, it took my mum and dad 5 years.
That's crazy. And so how would they find that out? Would it be like via the scans they could see it? Was it genetics or like just...
Well, from then it was like they looked into it even more.
Okay.
Like that x-rays came out, curve in my spine, short arms, short legs. My bones are fused in my elbows. Everything just added up.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Like it took that long? Jesus. But then did your parents, like, so obviously, was it a shock to them or did they find it was like, no, there's...
I think it was relief because I was not that they had such problems with me, but because they had so much going on with me, they wanted answers. And with that answer, it was like, right, okay. Like, they weren't worried at any point.
Yeah.
And like up until I was 5, minus being a bit sick, like they didn't treat me any different. I have 2 older brothers at home. And they didn't treat me any different to them. There wasn't anything that I could, well, I mean, I couldn't reach a few things, but like...
You're so twisted.
I climb up on counters. So they weren't, I think when they finally got an answer, it was like, right, okay, we were right all along. But even then, that didn't change. They found a charity in Ireland called the Little Beautiful Ireland, which is like a celebration every year. Yeah. And it's for all if you're under 4'7", you're considered a little person.
No way.
And
I didn't know it was that. I don't know, this might sound terrible and correct me if I'm wrong, if it was that short or how do you say that? Like small. 4 foot, 4'7".
Yeah. If you're under 4'7", you're considered a little person. Well, you're the other word would be a dwarf. You're considered a dwarf if you're under 4'7".
And so as a community or as an individual, what do you prefer being called? So I know for me
probably little person, but it depends on the person, because sometimes when you say little person to some person, it's like, what are you, 5 foot? Like, yeah. So then if I work out the person, I'm like, oh no, I'm a dwarf, and then it's like, all right, okay. But then in another way, some people might think Snow White and Seven of the Dwarfs, and it's kind of it's not like that either.
Yeah, so it's trying to then find the context of what the person wants to use it in.
Yeah.
So say for this, like say us chatting,
little person.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. It's like it's obviously not something I've ever thought about, and that's why I think you're a firecracker anyway. Like you're such a gem. But I think it's a topic that's so important.
Oh, 100%,
and that I think a lot of people are. I don't know if it's scared to address it, but like it's that kind of thing. It's like, okay, how do we approach this conversation that needs to be had?
It does need to be had, and people are scared. Like people are scared to not even talk to you, but they're scared to ask about it. They're scared, like say the likes of not like me, but the likes of people in wheelchairs with limb loss. It might be like, oh, what happened? And they're like, nothing. I was born this way.
It is.
Whereas like my disability, they can't really say that because nothing could happen.
Yeah.
But I think people do. People are a bit awkward about addressing it sometimes, and it's like, say if we were in a group, sometimes it'd take for me to go away and my friends be there with a different group, and it'd be like, here, what's happening here? Rather than, and I suppose it is, some part of it is respect. It's like they don't want to state the obvious, but in a nutshell, it is quite obvious.
Yeah. I think it's more, obviously find the right time for it. You're not just going to whip out in a shopping centre and be like, hey, yo.
What's going on here?
Yo, like, come on, tell me. But I think it's, like for me, it's like something that I've always been passionate about. So like whenever my mum was sick, like she used to volunteer with Disability Sports NI. And then whenever I lived in America, like I would have played wheelchair basketball, played goalball, everything. So it's something that I've seen even from my just little drips and drabs of being in those environments where it's like, it's people just, they walk on eggshells.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It's they don't know how to say it.
Yeah. And so that's where I think a lot of stuff is what I want to do. And especially what I want to do with you today was like, just chat about it, and also for myself, educate myself on it.
No, 100%, yeah.
And so if there's ever anything that I say and you're like, wait, whoa, hold up here, please.
You're getting too close.
Yeah, no, back it up here. Just correct me on it, because I think it is important, and I think people who are listening can, it's a way to open a door to a conversation.
100%. And I think being an athlete, it's amazing for it, but I think it also gets people over it. It's like, oh, you're an athlete. They take away the disability. Yeah. And it's like, hang on a minute though, I'm an athlete because I'm a Paralympic swimmer, which means I have a disability.
Yeah. There's a reason behind those steps. Has it been something whenever you were younger that you found, so like whenever you were 5, you're kind of understanding, you're learning about it all. Whenever you're younger, there's so many groups of kids, everyone's trying to fit in. Is it something you found hard to deal with, to understand? Did you question why me? What, like, how was that growing up?
I was never that child. I've never been, and I think because I started swimming so young, it took it away from me, but I've never really had insecurities.
Okay.
Like it's more the people around me, my parents, and it aggravate them way more than it'd aggravate me.
Yeah.
Like there would be, thankfully I grew up in a really small town. I went to a primary school that there was 6 in my class, about 30 in the school. And from then made friends, no problem.
Yeah.
They were all so accepting. There was never a time where I was questioned. There was never a time where I was excluded. And then I think, like I said a minute ago, on the flip side, when I went to secondary school, that's when I started swimming. Yeah. Well, that's when I was on the international stage. So in school, I was seen as Nicole who went to Rio, not, oh, Nicole has a disability.
Yeah.
And again, I think, that is really positive, but also they need to realise Nicole went to the Paralympics because she has a disability. Yeah. So thankfully, like, I never really questioned, like, it's kind of funny, when you have a disability, you kind of, not that you forget, but you don't see yourself as being disabled. Like, I don't see myself as being disabled. Yeah, I might not be able to reach a few things. I might not be able to go on a few roller coasters. That was the one thing that broke my heart.
Oh, stop.
Like, going to, or was it Disneyland? And, like, you had to be a certain height to go on this one, and you'd be in the queue, and they'd be like, oh, sorry, you're not tall enough. And that'd just tear the inside of you.
That's a stab.
And that, then they'd feel awful, but it's a safety regulation, so there's nothing they can do about it. But other than that, there was never, thankfully I never, like, I speak on myself, there's so many people who have had insecurities and do have insecurities, and that's them, like, that's them, and that's so fair. But I've never kind of let my disability get in the way of me doing something or mentally how I'm feeling.
Have you found that because you came from that small community, like whenever you're in primary school, that because it was so small that, and everyone, those environments, everyone just knows everyone for who it is. Like, you could be Bob from down the road, Sally from up the hill. You're just you.
Like, there was never, and like, even in the background, like, my older brothers went to school with me, there was never, no one came up to them and was like, what's going on? Like, I was never seen as any different. And I think it is because, thankfully, I was so lucky being in such a small community. And I think if that was a different experience, then I probably would have had insecurities, because it's kind of like where I started out. If I started out in primary school and I had issues with people but not being included, then I probably would have took it with me to secondary school. But because I was so included and had such a normal life like everyone else, that's what I just took with me then to go into school, and it was fine.
Yeah. Have you found there were moments, like, as you got older, that people, society, whoever it was, almost, like, give you that feeling? It was like, oh, you're disabled, like, and almost, like, didn't treat you normal like everyone else had that you were used to? What's the first time that you can remember that happened to you?
Actually, not so long ago.
Shut up.
Honest to God, like,
no way.
Like I said, the whole way through primary school, the whole way through secondary school, it was absolutely fine. No problems. It was actually, me being an athlete, we do go on nights out. It was actually about 3 or 4 years ago. I was on a night out. Legally
on a night
out. I'm 22.
Just to clarify, we know in Ireland there's a few flexible drinking rules, but just to clarify,
I was legal. I was on a night out with, there was like 4 or 5 of us in a group. I was not that drunk, neither were my friends, and we were in a busy, it was a nightclub, we were in a busy nightclub, but like, my friends, like, they've grown up with me. They know what to do, they know what I like, they know what I don't like. They won't have me in trouble, they'll protect me, like, they won't find any barriers for me. And we were just dancing around, and the security guard came up, and he was like, he came up to my friend, didn't come up to me, and he was like, here, you lot, come with me. And we were like, what? And he took us outside.
What?
He took us outside the nightclub, as in not into the back of the smoking area, outside of the nightclub. And he was like, it's just too busy in there for you. My friend lost it.
Fair. Absolutely fair.
She was like,
would have fought the man.
Are you joking? And he was like, what? And he was like, you're only saying that because of her size. And he was like, no, it's too busy. You're a bit too drunk. And she was like, don't pull the drunk cards on us.
Yeah,
we were absolutely fine. Like, she was perfectly fine to argue with him. And eventually then he did step back, and he was like, oh, I didn't mean it like that, I'm sorry, and let us back in.
Well, clearly he did mean it like that. Exactly. He was just trying to, like, for him, he probably thought he was coming across in a protective way.
Yeah,
but
no.
Unless you directly ask,
can you help me?
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Do you find that people do that a lot? They just assume
that
you need help, or...
Yeah. And it's like, it's lovely, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it can come across in a degrading way, in a way. Like, it's just very, like, it's more so in, like, restaurants. Yeah, in restaurants, again, if there was high stools, it's like, are you okay there? Like, I'm kind of like, if I don't ask, I don't want anything different.
Yeah. Which I think is fair.
It is, but they'd get awkward then. Like, they'd be bringing you over to a table, it'd be a high table, and it'd be like, they're scared to say it, and I'm like, just either ask me or just be like, here you go. And if I have a problem, I'll be like, actually, can I get a smaller table?
Yeah.
But it is very, like, people are very kind of shady in what they want to say, and they're scared how to say it. And another thing is, say if I was to go out for dinner with, like, this always happens, if I was to go out to dinner with, like, a group of my little friends, say if, like, 3 of us were in the restaurant and one of them was late, she'd come to the like place where you'd wait to be seated. Before she'd say anything, 9 times out of 10, the waiter would go, "Oh, your friends are in here."
No way.
Honest, they associate us all which I mean, it's fair. We are all together, but
You can't just assume.
But 9 times out of 10, if she was to come, or even if the two of them were to come, it'd be like, "Your friends are in here."
I'd be like, "Oh, sorry. Who are my friends?
Exactly.
Who am I meeting?"
Yeah.
No.
Oh. It's stuff like that, and like to be fair, like as a team, nothing would ever happen like that. We all have different disabilities, and because we'd have Ireland on the back of our back, it'd be like, "Oh, your team, where are you going?"
Yeah.
But stuff like that, it'd be like, "Oh, your friends are in here." Or if you're walking and looking for someone, "Are you looking for your friends? They're over there."
My blood is boiling.
And like, to be fair, it's people being nice, but it's
the wrong way.
It's the wrong way of being nice. It's the wrong approach, and I'm kind of like, if I don't ask, I don't want anything.
How do you respond in those situations?
If I'm honest, I do laugh in their face, and I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
And I would not expect anything else. Honestly, I wouldn't. Fair. I think. Do you find that that's like a coping mechanism, though?
Yeah. Like, I could have it in me to be like, "Sorry."
Yeah.
But it's not worth it, and then I feel like I say, 9 times out of 10, it is people being nice, thinking of me, but they wouldn't say to a group of blondes, "Oh, your friends are over there."
Yeah, your 5 other blondes are there. Like,
no, yeah.
Oh gosh, no, thank you. No, thank you. But like, have you ever thought of trying to maybe use it as like an educational piece, being like, "Actually, thank you for suggesting that, but don't just assume that."
Yeah, and I think that as well, because another thing is, like, say if I was in the shop and there was a young girl and her mom, and she was like, "Oh, mom, look, she's small." That, like, I really don't have a problem. The thing I have a problem with is someone who's educated enough to know that I'm small, to know that I have a disability, and point it out.
Yeah.
I do not have a problem with 10, 11, 12 being like, "Well, no." From the age of about 4 to 10, I'll give it. If someone was
4 to 5. 6.
If a young girl or boy, if they were like, "Oh, mom, she's small."
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
The parent panics.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Come on, move.
Yeah.
Let's get out." Whereas in another way, I'd kind of prefer the parent to be like, and some parents do, like, it's happened to me in the pool before, where we've been in the changing room, and like swimming lessons had come in, again, a child and her mom, to be fair, she'd be quite young.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Mom, what's going on there?" And like, obviously it's a changing room as well, so the parent reacts even more.
Yeah.
But to be fair, to respect this one parent, her daughter said it to her. Her mom was like, "Mom, she's small." And she was like, "Go and say hello to her." And she was like, "Go and ask her what question you have." And I was like, "Hello." And she was like, "Hi." And then she was like, "Would you mind if, say if she was called Eve, if Eve asked you a question?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." She was like, "Why are you small?" And then I was like, "I'm small because I didn't grow like your mommy and daddy did, and I have smaller arms and legs." And like that one little line, it's like, "Oh,
okay,
exactly."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can do everything your mommy and daddy can do. I can do everything you can do. I just didn't grow the same way.
Yeah.
I'm like, straight up, there's no confusion anymore. Whereas most parents, it's like, "No, come on, let's go."
Usher it away. Kind of like avoid. Yeah, again, avoid just asking a simple question, which would resolve so much.
Exactly.
And also educate yourself and your child on how to cope in that.
Yeah.
Because like, it's not like, I can imagine it's not even just with people with disabilities, but like there's so many people. Like I had an experience with my girlfriend and our neighbor, and the neighbor's kids, and the neighbor's kids were like, "Oh, is this," in Dutch they say like "buurman" or "buurvrouw," so like a female neighbor, a male neighbor.
Yeah.
And the child was just like, "Oh, is that a buurman? Like, are you my buurman?" As in like, "You're my man neighbor," to my girlfriend. And the mum was there and she didn't say anything. I'm like,
speak up.
Yeah. Like, just like, again, fine for the child, because it's like, they're just curious. They want to ask.
Yeah.
but educate. Be like, no, that's not what you do. Like, you should ask. Are you my, like, male neighbor or female neighbor? Like, it's just like anything. Just ask. But I think so many people are scared to, I don't know, assume, or they just assume things that then it's like, no.
Yeah, and then they just brush it off. Whereas, like, even in that experience, in my experience, I'm like, right, that girl knows it. She sees one of my friends like me. It's like, oh, look, that's the girl like I met in the changing room. Yeah. Like, whereas if they brushed off, the same thing will happen. It's like, Mom, why is she small? Why am I seeing her like? Yeah, it's just going to be question after question. Yeah. Whereas I think even in the world, again, it needs to have more knowledge and understanding of differences.
Is that so? Like, if you had to say one tip or something to say parents or to people who maybe want to ask or want to engage or want to try and help, say little people, what would be your one tip for them, or like one suggestion try and help?
I think tell the child to come and say hello. Yeah, like if it's in a setting where it's impossible, maybe then you can clearly understand what's going on. Yeah, you take the responsibility and be like, yes, she's different. She didn't grow, or something's going on. She doesn't have an arm. She doesn't have a leg. Yeah. Don't brush it off and be like, come on, and forget about it. It doesn't help anybody. Whereas if they answer a question, it helps the child, it helps us, and it helps them. Yeah, it helps you grow and be able to have those conversations. But also, I think it encourages people, like when you're younger and those things happen. Did you ever find that like my parents would have done it all the time, because I was that kid. I point out, like, if you had a plaster on your head because obviously you've fallen on a bike, be like, they have a plaster on their head. Like, I was that kid. But then it also, that encourages the kid or the child as they're growing up to be more open to ask questions. Yeah. No, 100%.
So that's, I think, like, that's where the change in society comes from encouraging your child to ask questions. If they don't do it in the right way, that's okay. They're young. They will learn. Teach them. Yeah. And I think that's a really good example in that sense, where it's like, okay, go and ask, like, just go and ask them what's going on.
Exactly. Or even the simple hello. Like, like that's a thing, like, that gets me as well. They'll say all this. You'll say hello to them and it's like, they'll be kind of taken back and think, oh, actually, she's normal. Yeah.
She is not a robot. Yeah, she has a voice.
Like, I can speak.
You can definitely speak. We all know that you can speak, and we love that.
How many hours have we got?
Unlimited. No, we're kicked out of here at 5. I decided to be like tapping on the door, be like, hello,
bye.
The building's closing, security's coming. Oh, sorry, Art.
We're athletes, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Pull the athlete card, it works everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Right, okay, let's move on a little bit. So obviously swimming is a huge part.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it a long, long time. Was it always swimming? For you, was that the one? Was that what you wanted to do?
I think so. Like, I think, again, so when I found the Little People of Ireland, they then told us about something called the World Dwarf Games. The World Dwarf Games, as funny as it sounds, I like to explain it as a Dwarf Olympics. Okay. It happens every 4 years. Okay. And it's a World Dwarf Games, so it's in different countries of the world. And it just happened that when I found out I had my disability at 5, the next World Dwarf Games were in 2009, which would have made me 7, and they were actually in Belfast, in Ireland.
What Belfast? What the North? Come on!
So my mum and dad were like, "Oh, why don't we?" Yeah. We went there, and like it's a mixture of all different sports, not just swimming, and you can do anything. It doesn't have to just be swimming, just be athletics. And they put me in everything, and I ended up winning like 9 medals. Like 4 for swimming.
All right.
4 for swimming, athletics. There was like team sports like hockey.
Jesus, no need to brag. Me and my 9 medals here.
9 medals. I won a hockey medal before you did.
At 9? I've only got 1 hockey medal. Actually, I have 2 hockey medals. European B division. Let's go. Treasure that thing.
Hang it up on the wall.
Absolutely.
Exactly. You should.
It's gathering dust.
Dust it. Is it not in a sock now?
No, not yet. No. Yeah. My dog eats me socks, so it's okay. Actually, no, she doesn't. She's a very good dog. My little baby.
But yeah, from there, I actually met Ellie Simmons there, and like me being to mum and dad, I was like,
way.
She was at the Paralympics last year.
Yeah.
And then me was like, I want to do that, but thinking nothing of it, thinking nothing of the training, nothing that goes into it.
Yeah, but who does?
And then it was actually there that it wasn't Ellie Simmons' mum, it was a swimming coach, came up to my parents after I swam, and they were like, she has talent, cherish it. And they did. And
wow.
7 years later, I was at Paralympics.
So you heard, you / and your parents were told by
the Little People of Ireland about the World Dwarf Games.
That, so then you went, tried all these sports.
Yeah.
You had someone then tell your parents that she has talent.
In swimming, yeah.
In swimming. Still, you have a talent. Most people don't. You're probably more talent in your little finger than what I do. And then 7 years later, you're
at the Paralympics. Yeah. The end.
I don't know what else to say. That's like the third time now you've got me speechless. Holy crap.
Yeah, I think, like, to be fair, I owe a lot to my parents. Like, back then, like, it took me, like, I went for my first World Champs when I was 13. I was 14 at my first Paralympics. It took me...
I could barely tie my own shoes then. You're off swimming, competing for Ireland. Impressive. Girl, so impressive.
Yeah. But back then I didn't see, like, I didn't see it. I was like, oh. But not but like Rio was amazing, don't get me wrong. But I just think back then, if it wasn't for, well, clearly I was 14, I couldn't drive. It wasn't for my parents driving me to swimming. And because they were driving me, they were the ones getting me up out of bed in the morning. If it wasn't for them, I would have been like, I don't need swimming. Like, it took me a while to realise, not to realise, but to believe that I had talent in it and to believe that I could go places. Never in a million years could I think winning a Paralympic medal. And then it's just year after year, you kind of, the belief gets a bit bigger each time. What
was it that, like, took you to believe in it? Like, at what point were you actually like, okay, this is something I can do this. Like, I can legit compete here.
I think, it took me, like, I think I was 17. Like,
jeez,
I loved it, don't get me wrong. And, like, as I joined the team, I loved going away. I loved representing my country. But I just think it took me, like, even coming back home after Rio, the reaction after Rio was amazing. Like, I was still in school. My school friends got to watch me race every day. But even that, I was just like, oh, yeah. And, like that, when I came home, people knew me. And it was like, are you Nicole? Congratulations. And, like, I'd find it funny. I'd be like, I don't know who I am.
That is the most Irish response ever, though. You're like, oh my gosh, they know me. Congrats. Panic.
Whereas, like, in 2019, I went to World Champs, I won a bronze medal. And then because of, like, so before I went to uni, as you'd call it, I commuted. So I swam in the NAC. And I lived in Portarlington, so it was an hour and 10 minutes each way, every day. So, to be fair, first in school, they let me finish up until TY. They let me finish an hour early, and then obviously 5th and 6th year you have your 7 main subjects, and they just pulled me one day and they were like, "Look, for your own sake, we can't let this happen anymore." Because they were like, it's 7 main subjects. It's not a little subject. Like, I'm not going to mention it, but it's not a little subject, like a certain subject that you don't need or you won't not necessarily get anything from, but it's not a core subject. Whereas they were like, you're picking 7 main that are going to affect your future and what you want to do. So then I decided to come out of school. Yeah, I left school when I was 7. Well, I was 17 leaving school. Well, no, I was 16 leaving school.
Jesus.
That was in 2019, and I was like, I'll come out for the year, do Tokyo, and then go back. But then COVID happened.
Nah, girl, what? Okay, so hold on, let's just pause there. So, like, how did you come to that decision where, okay, so obviously you've got something really important that's school, everyone, you need to finish that, especially if you want to go to uni or college. And decide what you want to do for the future. Like, that's everyone's, like, working bread and butter right there.
Literally,
But then you have this I want to go to Tokyo. I want to be a double Paralympian. I want to get there. Like, how do you come to that decision? Like, what were your processes
to be fair, mom, like I said, my mom and dad are very supportive. And I think I'm not a brain box. I'm going to put it out there.
Street smart. Street smart, girl.
Street smart. And like for years, I always prioritized, like education's so important. But for years, I always prioritized swimming over school.
Yeah.
So anything that happened with swimming outside of school, it was like, right, go swimming here, come out of school. And in that moment when they said that, I was like, it was either like completely switch schools and like say move up to Dublin, but again I was 16, so that would have meant my mom and dad would have had to move up to Dublin. It would have been a new house.
Oh like, my gosh.
So it was my mom and dad, and they were like, what would be your thought on taking a step back completely, get Tokyo out of the way and then go back? And me, I was like, absolute. Like, I'm not even for a school, but like, I was just like, yeah, it did take away pressure. Like, from first to third year, I was up doing homework till, like, I'd get in from swimming at 8:30 at night. I was up till doing homework till 11:30, and then I'd get up for school at 7:00 the next morning. Like, it was a lot, but I did it. But then it could have been like that for the next 2 years, and if I didn't perform in Tokyo, it would have been like, right, well, I wasn't able to give it my 100%.
Yeah.
But then COVID happened, and it was kind of like,
what do you do?
Exactly. And like, it, not that it didn't bother me in a way, but there was so many people, like, I'm gonna say there was so many people. I didn't get shit, but my mom and dad got shit for me coming out of school.
They were like, it's always the way though.
Why are you letting your child come out of school at 16? And they were like, she has potential. We don't want to put anything boundaries on this potential. Yeah. We think it's the best for her, so we're gonna let it do it. And then when COVID happened, it was like, see, you let her come out of school for nothing. Even though the games were still happening, it was just a year later. So like, I kind of just blacked it out. Like, my friends were so supportive. Like, there was one thing not that I regretted about coming out of school, you don't realise how much you see your friends. Yeah. That was the one thing that, like, as time went on, I was like, not that you get a bit lonely, like, my friends were amazing, I still saw them weekly. Yeah. But go and see them once a week to see them every day for 6-7 hours, it's massive.
And it's like, even those like 15-minute break times where you're just like sitting, I don't know, chatting shite.
On a windowsill.
Exactly, on a windowsill. Probably teachers are coming past being like, get down there, blah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So that was the only little thing. But then COVID happened, and I was a bit like, okay. But then again, I was still supported by my parents. It was like, no, it's still happening. Yeah. So then that left it to another year, and then I went and did a PLC instead of going to do my leaving cert, and now I'm in college. I got there.
Wait, what's a PLC?
It's a post leaving cert. So it's a level. It's a level 5. So it's the equivalent of a leaving cert, except it's only 1 year. I'm not telling people not to do their leaving cert.
But if you're smart,
if you're street smart
and want to spend time wisely,
PLC, and it was only a year, so it was nice actually.
And still, did you have to do 7 subjects?
No, you got to pick. Like, I did it in sport and recreation.
Sorry, huh?
Yeah, no.
So didn't. 1 subject.
Yeah, well, like with so many modules, but 1 subject, and that got me into my higher level degree now.
Nah, folks be doing this wrong. But I think even that in a way just shows how rigid the systems still are in terms of education. Yes, I agree. Education is so important.
No, it is, but there's so many ways around it.
So many ways.
And I think even though, like I say now, I was like, I got there, I'm in college. College isn't the answer. No. There's so many different ways of doing it.
Like, I'm 28 and I'm sitting here still doing a master's, but it's like...
Exactly, yeah.
I've taken several gap years in between, but that's the thing is, like, I remember I used to have a teacher in school, our physics teacher, Maggie, Mrs. Smith, and she would always be like, if you don't pass physics, this is obviously my reputation of her, if you don't pass physics, you won't get a job even stacking shelves in Asda. And we're like, what? Like, it was always, it was so rigid in that sense where it was like, and like, but you're also like 14, 15, 16. You're picking these subjects which
that determine the rest of your life.
Literally. And so there's just so much pressure and stress put on kids at that age to then literally decide, like, I remember one of my best friends, she wanted to go into medicine. Like, that was her goal, that was her dream. And she didn't get the 3 A stars she needed to get into medicine. And it's like, the ends.
Exactly. But that's like, that was exactly like my brother.
Yeah.
Like that. He did his leaving cert, didn't get his points. He wanted to go into IT, didn't get his points. He's 5 years later, he's doing the job he always wanted to do. There's just a different route. Yeah.
And that's with everything. It's like, if, yes, okay, there's the structured way, the way that society's like puts on you. And I think it is changing now. You are hearing more and more people go on different routes and different ways to actually get to jobs. And I always say it's who you know, not what you know.
Oh, 100%.
Unless you are doing like medicine or like law or something. 100%, it's who you know. You learn more, and everyone says it, like, you learn way more on
the job than you do studying a book.
Them books. Like, I use my books at home actually as a tripod.
There you go.
You know,
that's what they use for.
Very expensive tripod. Okay, but so you did your PLC, and now you're in college.
And I'm in college.
What are you studying?
Sport management.
And with the goal to, you know, because they all the life goal or the 5 year
career.
Oh, seriously, if I hear that,
where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'd love to be retired on a beach with pigs. With the sun and a few mimosas and cocktails. Sorry, I'm leaving you hanging. I'm trying to think what else I would enjoy there. Snacks?
Snacks, yeah.
Any snack companies want to donate snacks to the girls?
We'll be here for it.
Pigs, snacks, sun, beach.
Nipple.
Welcome to the additions. Yeah, I'm sure I can get a few of those delivered for us, you know. I have a few contacts here, there and everywhere. Yeah. Okay, come back to our
5 year.
Oh yeah, sorry, our
my 5 year. I think I want to finish my degree and do a master's in psychology.
To be like to go sports psychology.
Sports psychology.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think
I could see it.
I think like going back to sport in the past 2 years, especially my sports psychs, they're the people I've leaned on the most, and I think everything I've gone through and experienced through them, I kind of want to help someone the way they've helped me.
And that is Nicole Turner, folks, the absolute gem that just wants to help everyone. I love that. I think that's so amazing, because one thing I find really hard is you have, like, and don't get me wrong, like, people obviously go into be psychs and sports psychs with intentions, they want to help people. But, and maybe this is just me and the experiences I've had, where sports psychs who haven't necessarily competed in sport don't understand it as much.
No.
And so I think even, like, probably you already probably helped so many people and could help so many more people just from your experiences alone, minus the psych degree.
No, exactly, yeah.
But it's because you've experienced it. You can't teach, or you can't learn. You can't learn an experience.
No,
you can't learn a lived experience.
I don't need a book.
No, you're not a book. You might have a few chapters in a book, but
Chapter 22.
To be continued. Cliffhanger. Don't know why I'm going to Big Brother voice. Day 22.
In the Big Brother house.
Oh gosh, this is just going so sideways. Okay, but you've always seen yourself going back into sport. Was it something you wanted to do, or?
Yeah, I think, again, giving back. I want to help people the way people have helped me. In
swimming or in other sports, or?
No, I think in other sports. I think it'd be a wide variety.
What would be your dream one to get into?
My what?
Dream sport.
Oh.
Or dream location, or dream place to work.
Oh. I'd love to do an Olympic Paralympic Games, I think. And especially that there's a wide variety of athletes. I'd love to see the difference. That's what I mean. I know my experiences, I've seen the experiences of the swimmers, but I love to see the psychological effects of different sports on the body and mind.
Here, I can share a few with you. I'm offering myself up to everyone these days and be like, here, I'll give you a study. I can be your study. Oh no, I think that's amazing because again, you learn so much about how people process, how people think, how people do things, and their reactions based on their lived experiences. But then you also see it like with cultures are so different, like between different sports.
Oh no, 100%.
Like I always, this might sound harsh, but I would always say like swimmers are a bit crazy.
Oh yeah.
Because who on earth wants to live in the water for 27
exactly,
million hours a week?
Yeah.
And not wash your hair?
Oh, your hair's always wet. Your hair's never dry. It's never clean either. I am exposing myself. Even though we swim every day, we don't wash our hair every day.
Oh no, fair, because it's not very hygienic.
No.
You're taking all the oils out of your hair. But then again, you know, the chlorine from the pool is probably doing wonders.
Covered in pee, so.
Nah, girl, stop that. Stop
You just can't think of it when you choke on water. It's like, right, I'm choking on chlorine right now.
Don't tell me. I'm never going to go swimming again.
There you go.
Nah, like I was actually, this is kind of funny. I was listening to the radio the other day and they were talking about how kids go swimming and then they go for their swimming lessons and then they'd be like, no, can't go swimming today. There's a contamination in the pool and there's only so many contaminations that can be.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you ever been in when that's happening?
No, thank God, touch wood. In all my years.
Pray to anyone who's listening.
In all my years
of doing swimming.
Never experienced that.
Gosh, okay. So anyway, back to...
Sorry, got a bit sidetracked.
No, honestly, it's gas. I'm here for it. Like, sorry if everyone else isn't, but we are. I'm just now imagining a poo in the pool. Okay, so dream goal is then ultimately to work in the Paralympic side Olympic Paralympic side across multiple sports. Like how do you see yourself getting there? Okay, yes, going to do a master's. Has that something you've thought about, or are you just kind of like, no, let's focus on the now, get through this stage and what
in the moment I'm on the now.
Okay.
And then I think again going back to what you said, it's all about who you know, and I think some lovely psychology students at Sport Ireland Institute.
I think we know a few of them. We can send a few emails to LinkedIn.
Send a few emails.
Oh no, I think that's amazing. Would you want to stay in Ireland with it, or would you want to travel?
I think I'd travel. I think, yeah, although saying that, like, it's still a 5-year plan, so I think at this moment in time I'm like, I know too many people.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd love to just be a fresh start. No one knows anything about me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about anyone else, and it's kind of like, right, where do we start from here and get up to here?
Yeah. Is that something that you would find that like a good challenge for you to do in that sense? Or like you'd be comfortable? Yes, okay, you might be a bit nervous and whatnot about moving somewhere else and starting fresh, but is it something that you'd be like, okay, I know it's going to be scary, I know it's going to be tough, but I want to
do that. Yeah.
What gives you the excitement for that? Just the unknown of it?
Yeah. Yeah, and especially I think I'm not a home bird, so like going to the other side of the world, I'm up for it.
Yeah, you're fine. Well, like it's not as if you haven't spent the past like how many years doing it anyway.
Across it anyway.
Yeah. What's been the best place you've travelled to? Or the worst.
The worst.
Yeah. Worst experience.
Worst experience. We went on a training camp to a place in Italy. I won't name the place. And
name and shame.
There was bed bugs.
Nah.
In our bed. There was days. We were meant to last 2.5 weeks. We only lasted a week. There was days. The like first day, one of us woke up. There was 4 of us in a room. One of us woke up, and like the main pool was inside. We'd only be outside not even 2 hours a day. One of us woke up with a bite on like our backside, and it was like, oh, that's a bit weird. The next day, 3 of us woke up with 4 bites on us. And then
burn the place.
The day after that, there was a load of bites, and we were like, hang on a minute,
what's going on here?
We're not outside enough for this to happen. And eventually when we said we were leaving, one of the girls pulled the sheet off the bed. Why?
No. You don't be doing that. You just pack up and leave. Burn the. You don't even pack. I wouldn't even pack because
it was awful. We got like a 10 p.m. flight back to Dublin Airport.
Oh, like so you didn't even move hotel. You literally left.
Came home. And to be fair, it was really good because we did. Like it was 2019. Me and Alan won 2 bronze medals, so it didn't have an effect on us. but we left and then we came and swam in the NAC and finished our camp for 10 days.
I don't know if that's a promotion or not.
We got put up in a hotel though.
Okay.
So it was like,
Small
it was
wins.
proper.
It was camp
mode.
life.
Yeah.
It was camp life. Okay.
Like they weren't allowed drive. Everyone was looked after. It was proper. You're away, but
you're
home.
working here.
Yeah.
You're working.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. How do you find being in camp life?
The first 5 days, amazing. No, I think like that's what it took me, not of getting used to, but like you'll know your teammates are your best friends.
Mm-hmm.
But come day 7, 8, you have to...
I want to strangle them?
You have to step away, or you have to keep your mouth shut, or else it's... But
that sounds really familiar. I feel like me and you are just like two
peas in a pod.
Oh my God, I was literally thinking that as well. I was like, we're definitely 2 peas in a pod. But then I was like, no, if I say that, she's probably like, what on earth, 2 peas in a pod? Go away.
Yeah, no, I think like the first few days are all like, it's a new scenery, new training. It's 9 times out of 10 it's warm. But then come like Tokyo, we were away. Well, even Paris, we were away for 34 days. And you're sharing a room with someone.
That's a month.
Yeah, you're sharing a room with someone for 34 days.
The same person?
Thankfully, this time not.
Oh gosh.
But it got split in between. We swapped rooms in between.
Okay.
Not like it was planned, it wasn't because we were killing each other. But it's just like, you just never really... It's weird, you never get time on your own.
Never.
Because like, it's not as if people are like, yeah, but why don't you go out? You're like, on your days off, all you do is rest, recover, sleep. Like, you don't be like, right, I'm going to go here.
Yeah.
Like, you might get the odd 10 minutes sitting on a curb, looking out into the sea.
Yeah. Like, sprinting to that one coffee shop to get a coffee and sprinting back before you have another meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just very... And people are like, yeah, but it must be amazing being around people. It is, don't get me wrong. And we all get on absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah.
But your social battery just gets lower and lower.
It is dead by the end of it. I think that's one thing people in all sports that travel, or just in all sports, find it really hard because they see all this good stuff where we're traveling all over the world. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you've been all to all these cool places. I was like, I can tell you exactly how many squares are in that hotel room.
You don't see the outside of it.
You don't. You don't. Like, at least
people were asking me, did I go to Disneyland in Paris? I was like, what?
Why on earth would you be going to Disneyland in Paris when you've got a wee Paralympics going on?
I had too much time on my hands, clearly.
Nah, like that's why I'm just like, people have such a misconception of the job that we do. They think it's this like easy go swim, get picked, whatever, blah blah blah. But it's a legit job.
No, and I think as well, like other athletes, like a few girls I know, they're GA players, camogie players, and like their aim and mission, like they'll get to All Irelands, they'll get to county, but then when they're done, it's like, right, let's all go out, let's all go get smashed. And people are like to me, so in the middle of camp, did you go for pints?
Yeah, no. Like it, but even now it's like I'm in my season and people be like, oh, like, are you going out this weekend? No.
But you're seen boring for just staying in your house.
Yeah. And I love staying in my house and I love flying on my sofa. I absolutely love it. Yeah. But that's the thing, is like people just think, oh yeah, it's this dream, but it is an absolute dream. It's such a privilege.
But they don't realise
it's hell.
Yeah.
There's times where you just like, you could just snap your fingers and want to leave and be like, I never want to do this again. Oh gosh, the misconceptions. But like, so whenever you're traveling so much and like you're obviously with your team, your Paralympic swimming team, do people, I don't want to say judge, but like there are going to be different cultures treat it different. Have you found it different throughout places you've traveled to compete in swam? Or does it? Yeah. How, like, what's that like?
Just the organisation of it. Like, some places, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's just the setup of different places, and it's how people do things differently.
Yeah.
Like, it's normal to them, but it's not normal to us.
Yeah.
Like, thankfully, swimming has strict rules. Like, you have to be in the car room 20 minutes before. But like COVID was a big one. Like, with swimming, you normally warm up before your race about an hour and a half. Whereas Well, you don't spend an hour and a half warming up.
Oh, right, okay.
An hour and a half before your race. You only spend about 40 minutes warming up.
Jesus Christ.
Whereas like some places might only have a set warm-up time. So if the warm-up's 3 hours before your race, then it's kind of like, what's going on? Like, how does this work?
That doesn't work. The mathing isn't mathing there.
Exactly. And it's just, well, that's your cards that you're dealt to deal with it. It is, and like at big competitions like Paralympics, Worlds, Europeans, that never happens because they're like, they can't do that.
No.
But like little World Series, it might be like, yeah, but you can warm up here, but you're not swimming for another 4 hours, and it's like, what's the point?
What?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, would that be, say, I don't know, say if you're swimming in Italy, like, would it be, say, in Asia, is it like different or better or worse in Europe, or
or
no,
is it just like, kind of just depends on the competition. Like normally, like, to be fair, if it's like the likes of Asia, if it's not a Worlds, we don't go. Like, there's no point.
Fair.
There's honestly no point. Like, our main targets over the year, so like every 4 years we have our Europeans and our Worlds in the same year. And then the 3 years in between is either Europeans or Worlds. So like our target would be that, and then it's kind of like, well, what do we benefit from going here, there? But like, it might happen that we only do 2 World Series and a World Champs in our season.
Yeah. So how do you manage, say, all that travel?
Downtime. Or travel or downtime?
Well, just life of that. So like, if you're traveling, say if you're going traveling somewhere, you're also still studying. Like, how do you manage all that? Plus, then trying to stay in contact with people from home to be like, hey, I am still alive. Don't worry about me.
I think a big one for me, and I learned it as I got older, talk to people.
Yeah.
Don't have an issue and try and not like, I'm not saying don't try and solve it yourself, but like, for me, like my first year of college, say, like for years, the way I said my school was so understanding.
Yeah.
When I first came into college, me not thinking anything of it, like college finishes at 6 o'clock in the evening. My normal day to day was swim 8 to 9:30 in the morning, swim 5 to 7 in the evening. Like, there was lectures from 9 to 10 that I couldn't make. There was lectures from 4 to 6 that I couldn't make.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, I was going to go to this lecture and be like, I can't make this, and I thought she was going to be absolutely fine. My first week of college, I was in tears.
What?
I got my timetable, and there was this module at this time that I couldn't make, this module at this time that I couldn't make. And before I reached out, this is me, and this is me telling you to reach out to your life skills, reach out to someone to talk to. But before I did that, I sent an email to her and I was like, hey, such a body. She had an idea who I was. I was like, as you know, I'm a Paralympic swimmer. I swim, blah, blah, blah. I can't make this, this, and this. And she was like, hi, Nicole. Speaking on behalf of myself and my module, I do have an issue with you not attending it. And I'm sure the other lecturers that this affects will have an issue too.
What?
She was like, can we meet to sit down so we can put a balance on your academic and sporting career? Like, that was
first week of college.
First week of first year.
No. We cannot meet then.
And I turned up to the pool, bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
To the girls, and they were like, what's going on? And I was like, I just can't do it. I don't get it. I won't be able to swim. I won't be able to do college. And again, it took me to reach out to someone.
Yeah.
And then Emma Saunders was like, leave it with me. I'll solve it. And it's kind of amazing then, because once someone else does it, they listen to that person. And it's like, oh, actually, okay, there's a way around this. Like, it's just in the, like, I don't know. And I was 20 years of age. I don't see what she thought she was getting at. And she knew I wasn't going to do what she wanted me to do anyways.
Yeah.
But I think, my biggest piece of advice would be reach out to that person, ask for help. I did it plenty of times where I was just like, I can do this on my own. And then it'd come and I'd be like, oh.
Sight crawling back, like tail between the legs. That's what I think a lot of people, like, you learn as you get older. Once you experience it, you're like, okay, there is, say, an academic advisor, there is a life skills person, there is and whether that's in like a study, a career, whatever, sports environment, there's always some that it is their job to help. I know it's their job, but they will help, and they wouldn't
100%.
be in that job role, I think, if they didn't want to help.
No.
Like straight away, I just think of Carol Keenan in the institute, and I'm like, I don't know if you've worked with her, but she is a GM, and she's always just like, just ask.
Exactly. Yeah.
The worst you can say is no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally.
Whereas you think it's the end of the world there and then.
Like, but I think that's also normal. It's like you're brought up to believe that as a individual, you have to do everything. You have to have, my phrase at the minute is like, I've got a finger in every pie. Don't ask where I got this from. I think I heard an old person say it, and now I've latched onto it. But you're balancing so many pies. Do you know what I mean? And you just have to get on with it.
Exactly, yeah. You can't pity yourself,
No. Oh, I like that. Maybe I should start using that one myself.
Stop pitying yourself.
Damn, just write that down.
That could be your next tattoo.
Yeah, put it here. See everything. Oh, shit. Could you imagine? Do you have any?
No.
Are you going to get any?
Yeah. But my thing with tattoos is like, once it's there, it's there.
That is true. No, you can nowadays you can't get it removed.
For a very high cost.
Yeah, and apparently it hurts more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One day.
Exactly. Girl, I think we're almost at the end. We just have to do our Unboxed 11. Quick fire, short fire. Well, quick fire, quick-ish fire, whatever fire you want, to be honest. Should we just get into it? Finish it off before, honestly, because we could just keep chatting shit for ages.
And then we'll get knock at the door being like, get out.
Yeah, time to leave. Our rental time is coming to an end. Okay, so we'll do the Unboxed 11. Answer whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
Mind, body, and soul, just splurge it out, okay? So, question 1, favourite time of day?
Bedtime, but not bedtime to sleep. Like, you have to... This is meant to be a one-word answer.
No, it's not.
Like, the time you get it from allowing myself time to get into bed, but not needing to sleep. So, like, half an hour, 40 minutes, just scrolling through TikTok. And then it's like, right. But it's just peace. No one's annoying you.
Yeah.
You can switch off from the world. You don't have to answer anyone. Your door is closed. Your light's off. So people think you're asleep, but you're not asleep. So, nighttime.
So 40 minutes before the bed.
40 minutes before
just to be specific.
Just to be specific.
Okay, question 2. What's the biggest compliment you've ever received? Not to ask the Irish person to look for a compliment. Let's go digging deep in here.
I think something that really goes to my heart is when whether it be a parent, whether it be a teacher, comes up and thanks me, and I'm like, yeah, but what for? And they're just like, for being yourself and doing what you're doing. I think that really kind of makes me feel good about myself.
Good, and you deserve it. I would agree.
Thanks.
I would agree.
I'm thanking you now.
Next one. What's the biggest learning experience you've ever had?
Speak out, I think. Like, especially, I think don't box your feelings. If you want change, don't be telling yourself you're wrong. Speak out in how you're feeling and ask and say what you want to be done.
I just need a book of your quotes and everything. Speak
out.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's really good, and I think a lot of people can hopefully try and do it at least. What makes you smile the most?
You.
Stop that. Go away. Go away. No. Okay, really. What makes you smile the most?
I'm smiling now. I think seeing other people happy. Once other people are happy, that puts a smile on my face.
Nice. 3 things you can't live without. No pressure.
I'm going to be very techno here and say my phone.
Fair.
My phone, my car, and my dogs.
Give a shout out to the dogs. What dogs do you have?
Oh my god, you've asked for this now. I have 4 dogs. I have 3 Shih Tzus and a French Bulldog. 3 of them are named after 3 Paralympic Games.
Rio, Paris, Tokyo. No way. And the
then
Frenchie?
The Frenchie's Paris.
Obviously. Duh, Ayeisha. Duh.
And then one of the Shih Tzus is the odd one out, and he's called Seamus.
Rio, Paris, Tokyo, Seamus. Seamus. I love human names for dogs. I think it's fantastic. Like, do you know the deer video where the dog's running after the deer and it's like, Fenton! I think it's fantastic. Oh dear, right. Okay, next one. I love how this is quick fire. What's inspiring you in life right now?
You can edit this bit.
We can say we're looking for new inspiration.
Oh,
That's a good line, eh?
I'm looking for new inspiration.
Was not shared by me.
You're inspiring me.
Stop that. I'm getting all giddy inside. Okay, if you weren't a swimmer, what would you be?
Sport or not sport?
Whatever you truly desire.
In sport, I'd be a cyclist. I love cycling.
Oh, it's
not
fantastic.
a Paralympic event, but I love cycling.
Track or road?
Road.
Okay.
The tracks. Oh my god, the track's too scary.
Oh, the track is amazing. I love speed.
Yeah, but
I do like the road also, but no, I don't like hills on the road.
I love going down a hill on the road.
Oh, down the hill is fantastic.
But the track's just too small. There's too much going on, and like if you fall, bang.
Yeah, fair. That's a very valid point. Okay, and out of sport?
A psychologist.
Easy,
not one
easy,
yet, but
easy.
Will be one.
Yeah, one day you will get there. Who do you look up to and why?
I think the person I've looked up to for the past few months is Ellen Keane. I think everything that she did, well, she's done even for the Paris Women World is exceptional, and Paris was her 5th and final Paralympic Games. So to get to 5 Paralympics at the age of 29, she didn't even get to her 30s. So
insane.
That was insane.
So for those who don't know Ellen Keane, she is another legend of Irish power swimming.
Yes.
Go and check her out. Just everything that she has done.
This is your shout out.
Shout out, Els. Another Noel Murphy gang member. Oh dear Lord. Noel's got a lot of shouts. He's going to be buzzed.
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to Noel. Like, here we are for him. Okay, last 2. One experience that significantly shaped who you are today.
Probably winning my medal. Like, and I know people say medals aren't everything, but I think winning my medal in Tokyo, I think it was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but they don't change. Like, it really showed me it doesn't change who you are. Like, and that's what I try to tell myself about swimming as well. It's part of your life. It's not your life. Like, I'm still that 5-year-old who went to my first day of school like every other 5-year-old did. It just happened that in time I went to be a Paralympic swimmer and go to a Paralympic Games, but I'm still like every other human being. So I think that kind of, it did shape me. It was amazing. It was something I dreamed of all my life, but it also made me take a step back and be like, you know what, actually it's amazing, but I still have a life. I still have family. I still have friends like every other person in the world does. Yeah.
I snapped. No, honestly, I couldn't agree more. And I think it's like everything you do, it's part of you, but it's not.
It's part of you, it's not who you are.
It's not your identity.
Yeah.
Oh, class. Love that. Last one. How do you stay unboxed? Nicole Turner, how do you stay as Nicole Turner?
I think be who you are. Don't let anyone change you. I think I have a smile on my face. I always 90% of the time I have my, except for the Paralympic Games in Paris. That's in part 2.
Stay tuned.
No, I think don't let anyone change who you are. Like the person you want to be that person. Don't try and live someone else's life. Like I'm saying, like influencers are absolutely amazing, but even they say like their day, that what you see in a day might not be their day to day. So don't think you want to be like them. Be your own person, have your own ambitions, have your own goals, and you'll get there.
Nicole Turner, You're a legend.
Thanks.
An absolute legend. I just want to say thanks for your honesty, for educating us, for sharing some of your, just Nicole, just sharing you. I've loved having you here. I think
Thank you for
you're,
letting me share me.
honestly, we're definitely having a part 2.
Oh, 100%.
Because we will cause riots then. This is the nice PG.
This is the nice PG.
Riots will be coming in part 2. But seriously, girl, it's been, I've loved sitting down chatting with you. And yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Get out.